Good morning guys, Mac here. So today I'm going to show you something that I literally never get asked about, and that is how do I run Windows 3.11 in VMware Fusion? Just like this. There we go. Now this is DOS 622. We've also got Windows for Workgroups 3.11 installed on here. So should you be interested in doing this just for having a bit of a play, I'll show you how to do it. Now you do need some things to be able to do this, and I'll show you what they are. You'll need a copy of DOS 622. I'm not quite sure where this one's come from. It is legitimate. Just can't remember where it's been downloaded from. You also need a Windows 3.11 install. Now I've done it as an ISO just because it's easier to install. But let me take you through how to do this because it's kind of curious. So let's go through the process of creating this from scratch. So I'm in VMware Fusion. This is VMware Fusion 11. So let's create a new machine. I'm going to go for new. The installation method is going to be create a custom, continue. You can see down here under other, you've got the option of selecting DOS. We'll go with that one. Create a new virtual disk. It'll create a new hard disk. It's 2 gig, which will be plenty for this. Okay, now what we're going to do now is actually just customize the settings here. So it doesn't matter what you call it really. I'm going to stay with that name. But what does matter is what we assign in here. So firstly, I'm going to turn off the network card. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is make sure that the DVD drive is disconnected. I'm then going to add a floppy drive to this. So if I go to add device, select floppy, add. It's now going to ask what I want to add. So I'm going to find those files that I will give you the link to. And what we're going to do is choose disk 1 there. Make sure it's connected, and then back here. Now if you want, you can have a look around in here. You'll see, for example, it's only got 1 processor core allocated and 16 megabytes of RAM. So let's get this fired up and we can see what it's like. And there we go. We're now at the setup point. So we're going to hit enter to continue. Okay. Now we've added a hard disk, but the hard disk isn't prepared. So we're going to let it prepare it. And we'll need to restart and just redo the setup. What it actually does is goes off and does things like fdisk and also formats the drive. Now I'm going to change this to the UK. And we're going to let it just put it into the normal directory there. It'll ask me for the next disk. There we go. And the way we do that is we pop up to the config bar at the top here. And what we're going to do is just change our floppy disk there. And we're going to select the next image. There we go, number 2. It's now going to ask for number 3. So I'm going to do the same thing. This time select disk image number 3. Now it's saying remove all the disks. So I'm just going to disconnect the floppy drive there and let it restart. There we go. So we now have DOS 622 installed. Now that bit was really easy. Now we now need to get Windows on here. Now the simplest way of doing that is just to attach this CD-ROM. So let me show you how to do that. So there are a few hoops we need to jump through here to get the CD-ROM attached. And the way we're going to do it is firstly pop into your floppy drive config here and just reattach the first disk image, that one, disk 1. There we go. Now what I'm going to do on that disk image, there is a file called OAKCDROM.SYS, and I'm going to copy it to the C and then DOS directory there. Okay. So if we now look in there, you'll see that there's an OAKCDROM.SYS file. Now we need to get that CD-ROM driver loaded, and the way that we do this, we don't use Notepad. There we go. Config.sys. I'm going to stick a device equals there we go. Device equals DOS OAKCDROM.SYS MSCDEX. If you want to here, there's a couple other changes you can make. You can stick UMB on there. There's all kinds of stuff in here really that I'm probably out of date on. It's so long since I've played with this stuff. Now we also need to edit the AutoExec.bat because we need to add in the command to connect to the device, the CD driver. think that's it. So let's reboot the machine and see if it's found the CD. Now the reason it's done that is because I've forgotten to disconnect that floppy drive. So I'm going to disconnect it there and just reboot again. So that's found our DVD drive, or a CD drive even. It's put it on the D. So what I'm going to do now is connect that image. So I'm going to go into here, CD. I'm going to find my image. I think it's already selected actually. There we go, Windows 3.11 ISO. Make sure it's connected there, so connect CD DVD drive. And now if we pop into here, look on the D drive, we should have all of our Windows files. So now we can just run setup. There we go. So to set up Windows for Workgroups, we're going to press enter. I'm just going to go with the express setup, so we'll say enter and it will shoot off and do all this stuff for you. Now we've disconnected the network card, so just a bit of a heads up here. If you leave the network card connected, I had problems starting Windows after it had finished installing. There we go. So you can just give it any name, any product key if you want. It'll go off and do the install for you. Okay, I don't have a printer attached, so I'm just going to click install to continue, which seems a little bit odd. And I'm just going to continue on this bit as well. Now it's going through and searching for existing applications. It's just really quick. I mean, this is running on an iMac Pro, which is yeah, it's probably not quite what Windows 3.11 was used to. But now I'm going to skip the tutorial. And now what we should be able to do is restart the computer. There we go. Now if we want to start Windows, we should just be able to type Win. There we go. It is blindingly quick, of course. But you can now go and do whatever you want and have a look around and do whatever you would do with Windows 3.11. There you go. Anyway, I told you this is completely pointless and literally nobody ever asked me about this, but you can do it if you want to. So I'll upload this virtual machine and those drivers if you want to go grab them directly, and I'll stick the link in the comments below.